What's up, guys? I'm the voice behind the helmet, and today I'll be doing a review video on this 2012 Kawasaki 250R SE. Don't get caught up in SE because all that just means is special edition, and R, it just means replica or racer. So, of course, before I jump into the video, we'll talk about the price, the weight, body style and features, as well as comfortability of this bike. And the most important topic for anybody looking to begin riding a motorcycle, this is 100% a video for you to watch, and I'll tell you why or why not this should or should not be your first bike. Alright, y'all, so first thing first, the price of this bike is going for $3,045. However, the base price of this bike is $4,500. Now, Flip My Cycle is selling it for $3,300, and honestly, it's $1,200 less, so it's a fair price to me. They're meeting you right in the middle. Now, getting into the weight of this bike, the dry weight of this bike is 304 pounds and a wet weight is 374 pounds. Now, one thing you'll realize is that the lower in CC you go, the lighter your bike will be. So I can't really say that for your cruisers or your supermotos or dirt bikes, because I don't really have as much experience on those as I do with sport bikes. So this bike is definitely a difference, and it's super light just because I'm coming off of a Kawasaki ZX10. If you look from the side of this bike opposed to the front, like, honestly, you'll misjudge the bike because it looks so aggressive. But when you look at the front of it, it definitely gives me retro vibes. And what I mean by that is just like more of an antiquity, like older type bike look. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but to me that's just not my preference. But overall, I give it a 7 out of 10. This panel on this freaking bike, like, what is this? Like, it's so outdated to me. One thing that I don't like is that you can't tell which gear you're in. So, like, you really have to be mindful of that. The brakes on this thing is pretty it's pretty solid. One thing I don't like is that you really gotta dump the clutch on this in order for it to get somewhere. Like, this thing is pretty slow. I'm gonna hop on the highway with it though. But getting back into the review, man, it's definitely a change from what I'm used to. Anyway, let's see how fast we could get on it. Right now we at 70 miles per hour. This bike ain't going nowhere fast. So this bike is just simple, it's just basic. You can't really expect too much, being that it's really a beginner's bike. You have your basic turn signals. It tells you if you have gas or not. Don't expect too much of the electronic portion to be a big thing on these 250s. We expect too much with this because, you know, it's where you are really going to grasp the basics and the concepts of learning how to ride, focusing on the fundamentals of body position, speed, so control of your throttle, brake control, you know, just basically the controls on if you're starting out. So you can't really expect much. One thing that I will say is that keep in mind that some of these bikes are carbureted and some are fuel injected. And me personally, I do not recommend the carbureted, just because, you know, long term, if you don't properly let your bike warm up, or if you don't focus on those little things, then you're more liable to damage your bike without even realizing it. So I'd say keep that in mind. Another thing to consider is that, you know, with fuel injected bikes, all it is that the fuel is distributed electronically. That's like the main difference. So on fuel injected bikes, you could get up and go. I'm not saying that you don't face the same maintenance issues in the long run, but to me it's just better overall. And after 2012, just note that these bikes jumped up into the 300s cc's. So that's an interesting fact to keep in mind. So the comfortability of this bike is definitely there. This actually sits lower than I remember. The body style of this bike reminded me of a Gixxer. If y'all go back and review my Gixxer review video, how I said that it works for short people, well, the same thing applies for this 250 that I'm currently riding on now. I can actually almost 100% flat foot, but it's definitely comfortable to ride, comfortable and easy to maneuver. It doesn't have too much of that downright position to where you'll find yourself like leaning in and leaning over. Comfortability of this bike, I'll give it a 10 out of 10, just because, like, it's not to the point where you're too low or have to sit too far back. It's actually pretty upright for a sport bike. It gives me the dual vibes. Is it necessary for you to buy a 250 if you're just starting out? This is like one of the most basic questions that's out there, and I want to say, to me, I do not recommend. Personally, I do not recommend starting on a 250, and that's only because, to me, driving a 250 is equivalent to buying a scooter. Granted, like you might have a little bit more of a leeway with your 250, so you'll go about 20 miles faster, and depending on what you want to do with it, it's not really that much of a difference. Again, this is just my personal opinion. You can start out on the 250 if you like, but I look at it in the fact that you'll outgrow it quicker than anything. Like, you'll start on the 250, and I guarantee you, give it no more than 3 or 4 months. If you're actively riding and participating in group rides, getting a feel for the bike life, they're gonna go faster, and you're gonna be the one always left in the back. So only thing in the back of your mind is gonna be, man, I need a faster bike. Now overall for the bike, like, some things that I don't like about it is the slow get up on it. Like, it takes its time. It doesn't have that, I guess, purr or aggression that I'm used to. So that could be a personal error or constraint on my end. But if you're just starting it off, then it'll be perfect for you, especially getting familiar with the gears and stuff. So do I recommend this for a first bike? No. But can you get it, or should you get it? Yes. It won't be too hard on your pockets if you don't have it. But if you're gonna upgrade anyway, then you might as well put that money that you're looking to invest in this bike anyway into a bigger CC bike. Now, what I recommend, I'm not gonna say now. Just stick with me as we go through these series of bikes. So today's series is on this 250, and that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, then give it a thumbs up, but if you loved it, give it a sub. I'm still getting a feel for this thing, guys. I'm about to go play on it. Also, if you want to learn a wheelie, a 250 is definitely it. You know, it's not super negative, but yeah. I hope you guys like this review, and of course, as always, until next time, guys. Shout out to Flip My Cycle for allowing me to do a review on one of their bikes, and it's more to come.